Hey everybody, it's Scott and I'm here at .NET Fringe. I see Glenn is doing Pokemon. And we've got...
It is your fault I have that on my phone.
It is. And we've got Hakeem Mohammed. How are you?
Good, how are you, Scott?
Pretty good. You having fun?
Yep.
Who are you with? Who are you with? Are you with yourself or are you with a big company?
I'm by myself. I came in to present my project here, my open source project that I just got started on. So that's the reason I'm here. Like it's Hadoop.NET. It's .NET port of Hadoop.
Really? That's a big thing. Are you doing it as yourself or on behalf of a giant company?
No. It's like I just started it as a side project by myself. So it's just like a one-man army of me and myself for now. But and that's the reason I'm here. I got started on it, and then like I was working on it myself, and I reached out to Glenn, like I asked him for some advice, like, hey, what do you think and all. Like I didn't even have the repo on a public GitHub repo then. And he suggested, like, why don't you make it public? And I believe at the time they were starting planning for this conference, so he suggested, hey, it's the right time, like why don't you come and talk about it? And that's how I landed here at the .NET Fringe.
But isn't Hadoop like a giant thing that is done by a cast of thousands? How can one person do this?
So yeah, Hadoop, like if you look at Hadoop, there's there's core Hadoop,
right?
Which is big too, but it's I wouldn't say it's like it's a giant. Well, it is, but if you look at the Hadoop ecosystem itself, that's big because like it has the Scoop framework to pull data from relational databases. It's got Flume, it's got Hive, which is like your SQL-like querying into Hadoop without you having to write code in Java. And then you got Peg, which is like a DSL-like language.
Okay, so when we think Hadoop, we think big data, we think big ecosystem, and what you're saying is that the ecosystem may be large, but we can implement the core thing.
Yes. And it's not to trivialize it. Even the core thing is big too, but like if you boil it down, there's primarily two components to it. One is the HDFS, the distributed file system, and the other is the yarn processing framework. So those are the two core systems, and then there's a lot of other things on top of it too. Like Hadoop has a Azure extension, OpenStack, AWS. There's a lot of other things, but they all built on top of the core Hadoop.
Okay. So how much have you made? How much have you built?
I'm just getting started. Like so, the bits are ported. I got this whole thing here. This is my Hadoop.NET project. Using .NET 4.6, I started work on using .NET Core now. Now that it's GA now, so that's what I've been working on.
Is this manual work or is this a machine port?
The port itself was machine port, but then now comes the hard part. Like I started on of like actually, I don't want it to be like an idiomatic port of Java, like because C# has so many awesome features that we could implement to make it better. Right?
I see. Because if you do a machine port, it's going to smell like Java.
Exactly. It would be like reading Java code in Visual Studio, which we don't want. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with Java, but I mean, C# is...
It should feel like C#.
Yeah. So you got TPL, you got all the generics goodness, and a lot of other things, lambdas. I know Java has lambdas too these days, but I mean the core Hadoop implementation doesn't. So there's a lot of things that you could use to make it better, and that's my whole our primary goal. Like, so I could make Hadoop like a .NET native. I don't have to install JVM or anything to run Hadoop on my machine. So I won't be spending a lot of time yak shaving, setting up Hadoop, or setting up JVM, setting up Hadoop and all that. I could directly, like I have a .NET machine.
So you're saying if you're a Windows developer and you're a .NET developer, then this naturally fits into your world, while Hadoop without .NET and without Windows might feel a little bit foreign and might not feel exactly comfortable to a person who's primarily a Windows person.
Exactly. And it boils up to corporations too, or enterprises, which are primarily .NET enterprises, like where like their core team is C#. So for them, like getting the Java expertise, it's going to be a challenge. They would have to bring in external consultants, and again, it's a different cultural fit.
Mm-hmm.
The way Java works with Maven and their dependency management is different than how .NET does dependency management and all. So it's kind of like a uncomfortable fit.
Right.
And what I'm hoping to accomplish with this project is like you don't have to put up with all that. So if you are like a native C# or F# developer, you can get productive with Hadoop like right off the gate.
Are you hoping that the people in charge of Hadoop will support this and it'll become like a supported fork, and or will it go off in its own way like Akka.net?
It could go either way. So I haven't reached out to the Apache Foundation yet, like who are the maintainers of the actual Hadoop project. Either way, as long as it takes off,
mm-hmm.
as long as like people start contributing to it, it takes off and it has a life on it of its own.
You'd be happy.
I would be happy. Like I just wanted to see.
Can it run or do something? What's the equivalent of hello world in the world of Hadoop?
So I can show you here. Like I have like the actual Hadoop. The Java implementation running here. So if I want to start, I have to start the HDFS system first. So I start the daemon first. So, oops. So it starts the HDFS. Now I got.
That's
HDFS
a lot of jars.
Running. Yes.
That's a lot of jars right there.
Yep.
So this is your local source here.
That's there's no cluster here. It's just running on like one machine, this machine.
Okay, so it's firing up there.
Yeah,
getting started.
Yeah, it is started. So if I go back to the console where I started it from, and I query for the processes, I see it's running the name node that knows about all the other data nodes, and then it's showing me the data node. Right now it only shows one because I only have one data node running.
Sure.
So I started HDFS. Now the other thing I want to do is I would want to start up Yarn. That's the core processing engine in Hadoop. So I started up, it again fires up a bunch of consoles. So now I got Yarn running. So you see these. And now if I go back, you would see the resource manager. That's the core orchestrator for Yarn.
Yeah, you got 5 processes running there now.
Yeah. So 2 for Yarn and 2 for the HDFS system, and 1 is just the JPS itself.
Okay.
So this is what I have running in Hadoop. So let's say if we want to do something like, let's say we want to calculate pi.
Okay.
The value of pi in Hadoop, right? For example, because it's
that's a good hello world. I like that.
It is. So what I do is go change folders a bit.
This is a poor man's screen sharing that we're doing here. I realize we could use something like Camtasia, but why not use an iPhone and a big light?
Life is too short.
Let me change the directory here. 1 second. That's where my examples are. So look at the.
So then this is the Java version that we're running through here. The goal is going to be able to do the exact same thing as a C# developer, as a .NET developer.
So here I'm running one of the examples in there. I hope it is big enough for
it
your
looks
screen.
fine. Totally
so what
fine.
I'm saying is telling Hadoop to calculate the value of pi for me.
Yeah.
So I'm saying run it on 16 map splits.
Okay.
Like 16 map tasks in like 1,000 splits per map.
And this is where the big and big data happens. Those numbers are very big.
Exactly. So it kicks it off. So it kicks off the map reduce. You see, I got the samples per map of 1,000. That's the number I specified. I wanted the total number of maps to be 16, and that's what you see. And it went off like, and then like
And how long will that go? Until we
on
get
my
tired of it?
machine, it takes like up to 30 seconds usually.
Yeah.
Because I have more samples per map and all, and this is where like the real utility of Hadoop is. Like what you could do is you could distribute your processing on different machines in the cluster. You don't have to just run it on one. So now it's running. You see all the maps that it's writing. See all the maps that's created. Since I specified the number of maps to be 16,
16 maps.
Created like the 16 maps, and then it's sending the code. So the way Hadoop is designed, you send code to the data. You don't push data to the code.
Right.
So it's pushing it to the one yarn, which is like my local machine.
Mm-hmm.
So it pushed that jar file to it, and that jar file is being processed by that yarn daemon that's running here. So like it gives you a bit of a status, like how far it is. Like right now, mapping phase is at 0%, reduces 0%, and
Sure.
then the next thing it bumped up by 38%. So it keeps going, and in the end
Well, we'll let that keep running and figure out if
Sure.
we know what pi is. But where can people learn about your project and maybe get involved and help you out?
Sure. So first of all, like I have the GitHub repo for Hadoop.net. It's github.com/HakeemSM, which also happens to be my Twitter handle.
Yep.
/Hadoop.net. So this is my repo.
Yep.
So this is where like I would encourage people to go and get the bits down first, and then just get in touch with me. I got a wiki. Like I'm just getting started on it. So
Right.
there's a lot of work to be done.
Pre-alpha.
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 Yeah.
Get it to build. Step one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So start taking baby steps here. So the first target is like get all the data types in Hadoop, because Hadoop doesn't use the native data types.
Sure.
For serialization purposes, like it got its own data types, and then it uses the Avro framework to
Sure,
serialize. So get that one first, and then get all those tests going. And then once we do that, then get onto HDFS. So that's the roadmap. Like I have a full roadmap here at the bottom, and I'm also working on a blog post that I'll be publishing soon.
Very cool. And if people are trying to learn Hadoop, this is also a great way to learn how to do it, building it again.
Exactly. So for people who want to learn Hadoop, as well as people who want to get into .NET, it's a good way for them to. So for example, let's say you have somebody in the Java world like who knows Hadoop, but then they want to looking at all the excitement that's happening in the .NET world with .NET Core and all, they want to get into here. This would be a good opportunity for them, because like they already know the Hadoop framework, and then like they get to work on implementing Hadoop on the .NET platform.
Cool. Well, folks can check that out at github.com, HakeemSM, Hadoop.net. I'm sure if you Google for Hadoop.net, you'll find that. And then, of course, we're here at .NET Fringe. Thanks for talking.
And then here's the value of pi.
Oh, and then we know what pi is.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. It is 3.14. And we rounded it up, apparently.
Yeah, we did.
All right. Thanks so much, Hakeem.
Thank you, Scott.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye.